It's a live. We're doing a live. In case
I
you're just
know.
tuning in, I'm just trying to give you something to latch onto here. There's people talking about a subject.
Yeah, I think we're good. Yeah, what's up, guys? I hope you're having a great day
It's
today.
a live. We're doing a live. Are you
I
getting this echo thing?
okay, that was my fault. I'm good now. Yeah, so we are here today to share about the Merchifesters launch, which is a human design merch store. And Dave and I came together to make this in a really awesome, efficient, resistance-free process. Outside of the fact that we did this for a big, giant website that I worked on for a really long time, like a whole year. And when I walked away from it, I wanted to do something similar, just kind of on my own terms. And so I created a website for us, and we took the merch and we put it on here, and we kind of got a lot of creative freedom in the way that we were able to put it up and name it and choose the merch that we wanted to sell. And so I'm really happy with the way that everything worked out. And I don't know, do you want to start by talking about the lines and like how it started, because it's cool for you?
Well, I mean, we were. I don't really remember like how the idea came about that we would have this actually do this collaboration. But I guess, yeah, I just mentioned some of my ideas, and you were like, "I can do that."
Yeah, you had like a list of ideas.
Yeah, I'm a iCloud's notes person. I use my Apple Notes as a way of organizing my whole life. So yeah, there's a list. There was a list in my notes of like human design T-shirt ideas,
T-shirt
and yeah, and so you yeah, that's the thing. It's like because I don't really know how to do basic graphic design. So I have like all these ideas, but I don't ever make things. And I also like I'm familiar with like how the process of like trying to find a good drop shipping place and trying to, perfect the product and make sure everything's the quality is right and all the getting everything figured out with the shipping and the blah blah blah. And I just always seems so overwhelming to me. So
Yeah.
for you to step in and be like, I know how to do all these things, and I can just, and then so anyways, I'd have an idea, and then Lacy would sort of do her take on it, and then I would sort of be like, oh, what if we did that, or what if we changed this, or oh, I've got an idea, conceptual thing that would tie it all together, or you'd have some sort of other cultural reference that I never thought of, like the not self Nancy. Like that's one of them. My idea was just not self Nancy, like
We'll have
negative
to,
Nancy,
yeah, we'll share the
and
screen.
then Lacey like came up with the idea to do it like a Sex Pistols font, and then when I saw that, I was just like, I was so excited. I was because I grew up on Sid and Nancy. Like me and my brother had memorized the whole movie and did all the characters and would do whole scenes just reciting Sid and Nancy, and we
Do you have
watched it
videos
all
of
the time.
this?
Hmm?
Do you have videos?
I mean, this is before video cameras, and this is like we were little kids, you
Oh
know?
my God, that would be so great to put that with one of these like shirts.
My brother was I mean, he was a huge fan of the movie, but the Sex Pistols and that movie was just like a big, influence for me for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. Do you
So
want
yeah,
to
when I
put
saw
them
that,
up?
yeah, yeah. Yeah, so we made all these, we got a bunch of shirt ideas, and it's like, and not just shirts, like cups and doormats and stuff. And our brands are like your specific brand is very specific, and it's like, I think we should explain like what your concept is,
Yeah.
and then the other stuff is sort of more random and but Lacey's got this sort of like it's like a almost a satire of Christianity uh, approach.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, and it's like we can talk about, it's like we kind of came together, and for the big website, I was like, I want a line of human design ideas. And Dave's ideas were just so good. Like they were very original, and I took them as unique outer authority. And I'm an ego manifester, but I have an open root and I have gate 54 5 times. So I love to help people. I love to use my wisdom to help people in their ambition. And it just felt so perfect when he had that list. I'm like, oh my gosh, give them to me. Like, tell me about these ideas. Like, what are they like? And so just to come together and do that, it's like we had this awesome line of human design ideas. And I'm like, how are we going to like split this up? Like, is this going to be your line? Am I going to do a line? Like, are we going to have a line for the big website? And so it was kind of like an open question. And in the end, we decided to do NeutrinoRadio, which is like Dave's brand, has been for a long time. And then I came and I just did like a heretical, religious, mechanical thing. And so we can talk about that too. But this is the Not Self Nancy shirt, which I love. And we also have pin buttons. I don't know if
There's
they're,
different colors too.
yeah, there are. Yeah, you can do gray.
Yeah, we should show people some of the shirts real quick just to get them excited.
Do
So
you want to
there's
go
not like
to, you want to do yours? Go through yours, then we can do mine.
okay,
Yeah. Like, I love this.
okay. So yeah, quad wrong.
Yeah, and it's so good. Like, I love that for so many reasons. Like, I'm so big about not using human design as like a knowledge is power intellectual machine that destroys experimentation type of thing. And like the way that people will just carry their variables around with them. And it's kind of like, the vegan memes. It's like people can get really up in their variables and be like, well, I'm this way because this. And it's like, I understand. Like, I totally honor your difference and all those things. But just to see a shirt that's just like, blah, 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 and it's like the arrows are like in different ways. It's like so against that like stringent, strict human design like culture, and I love that.
Yeah, originally like we weren't. It came together when we realized that the arrows should all be going in different directions. Like instead, it's not like as opposed to quad right. It's not quad left is not quad wrong. We're just like
Right.
it's just this sort of like hot mess of whoever the fuck you are. You can wear this shirt. It's not for quad people. It's just for people who want to be self-deprecating and have a little fun with their human design.
Self-deprecating.
Another thing is look at the price.
Yeah.
Like we're really just not even making money on this. We're just right now want to put ideas out and we want people to buy the shirts. We don't want, I don't know. We're not we're not trying to like hustle you.
Yeah.
We just want to make stuff. And by the way, we're both manifestors and we work together really well and smoothly, and it's been pretty interesting.
Yeah. I think it's been awesome. Well, and it's like I don't do anything that I do for money. Money's fine. I've always been fine with having money. All through like high school, I started working when I was 14. And all through high school, all through college, it's like I never ran out of money. Like life helps me have what I need. So I don't really worry about the money end. It's like that big website. I spent a whole year doing that and not being paid. And so it's like to me, it's really not about that at all. So much of this in the bigger idea of Planet People HD, it's really just about helping people in the experiment, protecting their experiment, helping them, unfold so that they can discover who they are. And then they can tell me, giving people a place to offer affordable services and share their unique outer authority. Like, I think that unique outer authority is very rare, and maybe we think that it's not. But to see new ideas and people collaborating, people working together to create things that have never been seen before. Like, I think that that's so special. And I don't have to make it about money, especially if I see our mechanical reality. And I think that seeing it helps me relax into life, And so just to like put one of these concepts in front of somebody, and then your friend's like, what's a fractal? It's like a doorway into parts of life that you wouldn't get to explore if that thing that you can respond to wasn't there.
Pull up the shirt while you talk about it.
Yeah. This is Fractal Friends Forever.
And now we're fractal friends forever, and it's never gonna end. So if you wonder why it feels so natural, it's because you're on my fractal, and we're fractal friends.
Yes.
It's from a TV show that never existed, but it's like a past lives fractal friends show where it's like Friends, but they're all like it's like a human design past lives show, very specific.
See, and I feel like we could definitely make your show. Like, he had the whole idea about this show and a song that went with it. And I was like, yeah, we should definitely make it into a t-shirt. And it's like, I love what we did because it's so much like Friends on like TV. It's just this thing that feels like home. And, the seasons went on, it is forever. Like, it's like in my own movie, the name Planet People HD, it comes from my own weird mystical trip. And it's like the way I see things. And
That's
I just think
the greater website, by the way, you guys. It's
yeah,
called Planet People, and it's a whole other thing that Lacey's gonna reveal as its own thing. But this is part of like a whole website that she built.
yeah, it's like this is like the Merchifesters, and it's a merch store on this website. It's like a greater thing, and it's
Planet
like
People.
that is my trip. I see certain people on my fractal like very deeply maybe, and I associate them with certain planets. And so that to me is older than past lives. And this concept of fractal and this pattern repeating, these people coming together, it's like I've seen it inside of myself over time. And so I love this concept, and I love putting this word in front of people.
Show them some more shirts.
Let's see. Do you want to do this one? Another brick in the wall? Hang on.
Sure.
No, wait. I want to do this one. And then I want to do
Of course. Right.
I love this one.
So this comes from a joke that I made up. Why are emotionally defined people, why don't they ever believe anything that their cat says? Because there's no truth in the meow. And so like I told Lacey about my no truth in the meow idea. And then the whiskers, when I saw that, I was just like so happy about those whiskers. And I just love it.
This one might be my very favorite out of all of them. Like the way that the emotional wave is in the whiskers, it's so good. And the no truth in the meow is so good. Like, I love cats. I love their meows. Like, it's such a solid concept. Like the shape of the cat, the triangle ears, it's like, I just love this one. And it comes in different colors too. There's a hat and a mug with this one as well. Okay, I want to do or not.
I ordered this one. So far I've ordered this and Not Self Nancy. But
You get the Not Self Nancy shirt?
I ordered the white shirt, yeah.
Yes, I got the button.
Or not, for me, is like I have this sort of I have this joke in my. Do you remember Triumph, the insult comedy dog?
Mm-mm.
It was this puppet on Conan O'Brien. He had this guy would it's he it would be this little rubber dog puppet, and he like smoked a cigar, and he spoke in this ambiguously like South American-ish accent. He'd talk like this, and he would, and his whole thing was like, for me to poop on. So he'd be like, "Oh, Conan O'Brien is a really good show for me to poop on," or like, so you'd say like compliment something. Say this is a really good. No, that would be a really good guest to have on your show for me to poop on. So I feel like or not was kind of like the for me to poop on of human design. It's like,
It-
oh, well, he just like provides emotional support for the tribe or not.
or
You
not.
know, so sometimes when I'm reading like keynoted, like I get on the app and I'll like be reading somebody's like what the app says for to describe like a gate or something, and I'll be like reading the keynotes, and then I'll be like or not,
Yes.
it's the
Yes.
for me to poop on.
It's so
So
like that. It's a take back.
it's
It's
such an
like,
easy way to justify the like, well, it says this about me, but I'm so that. It's the or not.
well, it's like it's such a like it sometimes it can just be so violent when people say it. They're just like or not. And I'm like, oh, the emotional weight that was in that statement. It's like it can be used as like a weapon, but at the same time, I really love or not because it leaves it so open that no one can act like they know. Like that's the thing that really makes like the person have to learn themselves and not just be told who they are, because you can sit me down for a reading and you can say, okay, gate 2 in the sun, like you're receptive, receiving direction from life, giving direction to others, the driver, all this stuff. But it's like, or not, or not. And it's like that right there, what you just gave me is a full spectrum of everything within that one theme. And it's like, how does anybody think that they know? It's like or not is such a magical thing, and it's like violent on one end of the spectrum and it's like complete openness like on the other. It's hilarious to me.
It just reminds us that it's like these are just themes that are dominant in our lives. It doesn't tell you anything really.
Yeah. Oh, it's cool because for me, it's like I sat down and tried to read it at the beginning, and my mind literally couldn't understand it. I could not grasp energy moving between people, auras. I could not grasp any of it. And it's like from experimenting for 8 years, you start to see it. And when you're seeing it, you're like, oh my gosh, I understand. It's like in the experience itself, you can begin to see it for yourself. And I think that's like the whole point.
Or not.
Or not. Wait, you got to do it in the voice.
Or not.
Yes. That's the violent one. Okay. Girls Gone Raw.
So this is such a joke. I mean, it's almost.
It's perfect. Do you know how many girls get lost to the wall though? Like for real though, like all of us, like people go walk.
It's like such a narrow cultural reference, but it's like this one's. It's like this. I don't know. I never gave any shits about that particular brand, but it was just a pun that I had to make. And then Lacy ran with it. So here's the shirt.
Yeah, I literally went with the brand. It's like, let's go all the way with it. But my favorite part is the wah, like the mechanical wah right there in the middle. I'm like, oh, it's so good.
Right, you got the circuitry, the wah circuitry.
Yes. Okay, let's see.
Like it's just like a million inside jokes.
It is. Well, you could go in so many directions with every single one. Like, I love this one. This one's very on a brand too, because we literally went after a car brand.
That's the one you get for your dad.
Yeah. It's so classic manifesting generator too, though. Like, I just feel like it's just a good feel for like the feeling of what a manifesting generator is.
Fixing the it's there. It's not just the car. It's like the guy who's like under the hood, messing with it.
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
MG.
Even the engine itself, like, yeah.
And I mean, this one's so subtle that like a lot of people wouldn't even notice it.
The manifesting generator underneath is so small that you really have to like look to tell like what it's supposed to be about. Okay,
By the way, y'all, these are like, there's even more ideas in the works. This is just what we already have, by the way.
Yeah.
Another wah pun.
I love the red brick on this one. This
I
the
do.
singular red
Just
brick.
that one, the one red brick.
I'm like, maybe that one's the one that's gonna break out of the wall.
Right? It is on the edge, on the corner there. It could easily just sort of do.
Yeah, it's done. Okay.
How about not here to work?
Do you want to do the mat or do you want to do redefine the shirt?
I mean, let's make it clear that they're both available.
Yeah, we haven't shown anything else. We'll do this is a work mat and it says not here to work.
But we have a t-shirt of this too.
Yeah.
See, it's not, the idea with a lot of this stuff is like, it doesn't, a lot of these ideas, you don't have to be a human design enthusiast to wear a not here to work shirt. You know?
Right. They're
Like
applicable.
it's ambiguous enough that like, you don't have to be hip to some esoteric thing.
Right.
These things make great gifts, regardless of your how aware you are.
Yeah. I had to do it on the desk mat too, because just the irony of like sitting down to your computer every day and that like being the mat, like it's perfect.
Yeah, for sure.
I want to do weight.
I mean, we've gone through a lot of them.
We haven't done that either, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so we'll do this t-shirt and we'll do that. We'll do the t-shirt and then we'll show them the flip-flops.
Yeah, it says this on the front and that on the back. The Biverse.
I love it as these flip-flops because when you are walking, we put it on the heel. So every time you walk, like it'll, like you'll see like a flash of it.
Flop, flip, flop,
Yeah,
this,
it's like
that, clip, clap.
Like that is wonderful. Look at that.
Aww.
They're so like classic like beach flip-flops too. Like they're just the white, like they look clean.
Don't be sending me no dirty ass flip-flops.
Well, you give me like 3 days in these and I'm sure that I'll make the
I
clean.
can't wear like tongue flappers, like doing the thing between the toes. I cannot, I don't function in
Really?
that scenario. I can't, it hurts and it doesn't stay on my foot. Like I hate flip-flops personally.
Yeah, it's like I tell my kids, I'm like, oh, you just gotta stretch your shoes out. Like they'll get more comfortable. It's like when it comes to the flip-flops, you gotta like endure the pain until you no longer feel it.
Just be miserable
Yeah.
for like a whole week. No, I'll just never wear them ever. So anyways, the weight shirt, this is designed to mimic the branding of Time magazine. It's like um, which waiting and time have a relationship to each other.
Yeah. Yeah, I really like
Um,
this one. I think it's so clean.
it's yeah, it's solid. It's complete.
You know, the concept of waiting too is such a controversial thing. Like you'll see so many quotes that are like, waiting is death. You have to go out and make it happen. Da, da, da. And then like on the other end of the spectrum in human design, you know, like we try to honor waiting and watching life and seeing these different things, especially for projectors, like waiting for that invitation, learning to recognize an invitation, like the concept of wait in general. Like I feel like everyone you know is gonna like be like, what the hell? Like, what's that about? You know, like it's just an interesting, controversial word.
But it always ends up making sense, you know? It's like everybody knows they're not supposed to just be erratic and unreasonable and, you know, like emotional. Like, it's like never hurts to just like go through it a little bit. And I know some people are splenic and such, but, you know, it's good advice for anybody and their mom, you know, just hold on a second.
Yeah.
Let's wait.
It's so interesting. You know, I am an ego manifester, but I only have invitation channels. And a lot of people have all kinds of opinions about that. But by the time I had found human design, I already waited. Like I already waited to be recognized. Like in the moment, you know, I might know that I had something to say that could help someone, you know, and I would do that. And I was taught not to do that. I adapted to not do that because it didn't work for me. You know, it's like I need that. I need to be recognized and for them to like want that thing. And so much of the time when I'm jumping forward, it just doesn't work. And so it's like, yeah, I think that it's up to everyone to figure out how it works for them, you know, and it's not even because you need to do it to be smart or understand or whatever. It's just so that you can live your life in the least amount of resistance.
Oh my gosh.
It's so good. Okay. There's still good ones, like this one.
All right.
I love this one.
Yeah, honestly like didn't even realize the maraca style. Like I didn't realize at first what you were doing with it, but it's got like a Mexican
Yeah.
maraca reference, which
Yeah, it's
makes
like when I see like those colors and that like design, like I can like hear the shaking in my head. You know, like I can hear the maracas. Like, so as soon as you said shake your decision maker, it's like I was just like thinking that way. And I love it because I'm, you know, so much of my language, I try to be understood by people who don't know human design. And one of the ways I try to explain inner authority is your bodily decision maker, like your in the body decision maker, you know, and so like shake your decision maker and it literally being your body, like, so good to me. It communicates a concept that's like very hard to communicate.
right. Nobody ever would thinks about people who aren't in human design don't consider that they have a specific decision maker. Everybody thinks that it's their mind.
Exactly.
I mean, there's intuition culture and stuff, but you know, or the gut trusters, but they don't have the real language for it.
Yeah, it's like some people just luckily, you know, especially generators, like you can get lucky and
Mm-hmm.
be in touch with your sacral. And then again,
Mm-hmm.
you might not be lucky in being, you know, it's like human design isn't required for a human being to be in touch with their authority, but for humans who aren't in touch with their authority, it might be one of the best things to help them do that. It's like
I'm
putting a
talking
Bible in
about
front of somebody. I don't know if that's going to help them find their emotional wave.
putting what in front of somebody?
A Bible
Oh, right.
or a
Thought you
science
said a
book.
bicycle.
You know, like what
Um,
the hell do you put in front of somebody to help them embrace their emotional wave?
right?
Nothing.
Fidget spinner.
Like, what the hell? Yeah, it's like they've all been tortured into making mental decisions their whole life. It's like, it's crazy. Like, human design is so good because it can tell people, like, hey, you might not be bipolar. You might have an emotional wave.
Mm.
Like, yay.
Truer than true. I don't even know.
Okay, let's see. That might
Well,
be.
I think that's it for
Oh
the.
no.
Oh yeah, there's homogenized greeting.
And this one's really good too. Yeah.
Hello, how are you? I am fine. How are you? Splenic talk. But yeah, this is a joke that me and my friend Leisha used to do when we both started doing HD, and we would, especially because we're both non-sacral, not fuzzy, but she's an enthusiasm projector, so she's pretty bubbly with um, the 1648
Mm.
only. But so anyways, we would meet up to talk about HD, and it would be this sort of inside joke of like we'd both say to each other like homogenized greeting,
Mm.
homogenized greeting to you, because it's like are we conditioned? This is just conditioning, we
Yeah.
this is what you say when you see someone, you say hello, they say hello back.
It's like
Homogenization.
the deeper into it you get, I feel like, it's just like small talk, like that small talk, that thing that you say because you have to say it. Like it can become so painful to people who are in their body.
But it's splenic interaction. It's like it's the
That's
comfort, the feel
wild.
good,
I never associated it with that.
you know what I mean?
It's a
It's
feel good.
like
Yeah.
it's that yeah. Yeah, it's splenic feel good, which is something we need.
That is so funny. Yeah, I have a completely open spleen. Um, hmm. That's so true. But yeah, it's like for me, this is just so good because every business mixer, any formal WA Penta event that you go to, they're like, oh, we're going to put on these name tags and we're going to stay in a circle and we're going to exchange business cards and tell each other about our service. And it's just like everybody's
Zoom
dying,
in on it.
but they're all like, I need this business, so there we all are with our homogenized name tags and doing this homogenized game or whatever the hell. And it's just like, ugh, it's so just what happens. It's so just how it works.
It's just a comfortable framework.
Yeah. Yeah. So there we go.
Homogenized greeting to you as well.
I do like when you say it like that though, like as you're actually greeting someone. All right, what do you think? You want me to go into mine?
Yeah, let's go.
Okay, my whole thing through my funny trip, I'm so much about bringing people to strategy and authority so that it can lead them to the things that are right for them. And for me, I have always just known that they're all trying to explain the same thing. They're all trying to explain the same mechanics, the only mechanics that have ever created the whole life. And it's like when I look at like each religion, when I read different myths, like when I read certain people's outer authority, like I can feel the truth in there. Like I can feel, like, to me it almost feels like the bases. It's like this primal base pattern and this human is like speaking it. And it's like when you can kind of like get past the Babylon, you get past the language and you realize that we're all trying to explain like the same mystical, mundane reality that we are and that we see externally. It's like it's so magical. And so I wanted to take human design concepts and I wanted to make them look so religious. Like I wanted to make them look like they were just made in some 16th century illuminated manuscript. And I wanted to do it in a way that like illustrates that like it's mechanical, and I can do these biblical topics in the mechanics and you can find it in there. And so my first one I have a couple versions of this, and this just says allow difference. Like this is such a
That's
big
kind of your theme. That's like,
thing.
that's you. That's your whole thing. Allow difference. Like to me, that's your motto.
Yeah. Yes. It's like, I mean, think about how weird my trip is. Like my mystical trip and the way that I see different people as planets and things. It's like, who allows me with my craziness? You know, it's like I am here to allow difference. I am here to allow unique outer authority. I'm here to allow the emotional center in my husband and not need to be that myself, you know, and to teach him how to allow my defined heart while not needing to be that himself. You know, it's like allowing difference, like, oh, honey, they're just different. Like that's something you hear your whole life, but you never get into the mechanical reality of what it's like to have open and defined centers and how different each person's reality is on the inside. It's like it's a super deep thing for me. Okay.
Um, so that's you've got a couple different versions.
Yeah, there's this one too, which is it's the same thing. They're both a crop top. So both of these are not full length. And a lot of my stuff is probably for women, but don't get me wrong, I know a man could rock this champion crop top right here, Dave.
I'm gonna. That's the one. I'm getting that one.
Yeah, I mean, you look great.
I worked at a company where there was this trend for a little while of all the upper management guys and lower management guys, and all the guys were doing these crop top photos, but like it turned into a trend within HQ as well. But yeah, we were doing because the company had all these very flamboyant crop tops, so like we were going to do a calendar and everything, but whatever. Okay, so what's this one?
Well, you know, it's like my whole thing being allow difference. That's why I can't be like, this is just for women. I'm like, I know that a man can do all kinds of things in this crop top. But so this is, I love this one. This is like for Pluto being in gate 60. It says accept and transcend, and then it's raw 360, as if it's like a Bible verse or something, but it's really just the channel of 360. And right now we are all in the throes of accepting our limitations in order to transcend them. So this is like a perfect shirt for the last round of Pluto being there.
Oh my goodness. Right?
Yeah, and I want to do that like with the planets. Like it's cool. We experience these huge collective themes from these transpersonal planets. It's crazy.
You could do so many shirts like that.
Right? Like I love the angel. Like what is this? Just carrying a child into the sun. It's so accept and transcend raw
Oh my
360.
gosh.
Okay.
It's so good.
So this is kind of like my allow difference. Like this is also my theme right here. Aloneness is better together. Okay. Like this is specifically talking about the fact that even though I have someone sitting next to me, I'm still alone in here, you know, and it's like, as someone who has the 2551, as someone who is mystical and deals with that side of life with people, you know, I can't climb in there with them, and it's a real thing. Like this is something that I firmly believe in, and the best medicine for being alone in here is to be alone in here together.
Totally.
Yeah.
By the way, like you know, there's been times when we would hang out on a call and we'd think we're just gonna like shoot the shit or like talk about business or talk about creative ideas or you know make something or do something, and I would just be in some shitty low, and you'd be like, "Ooh, cool." You'd be like, "I love hanging out with people when they're in lows. Let's hang out." And then I would just sit there and bitch and feel like the end of the world, and you would be like all excited to like talk me through it and be there with me and stuff. But it's just like it's still this aloneness thing. It's like at the same time you're just sort of like allowing, just like, oh yeah, and then what happened, and it's this kind of like, I don't know, like this coexistence therapy that you have the ability to do, where it's like I'm not getting involved in this, but I'm certainly right here, like facilitating something for you.
Yeah, it's weird. It's like so I do personal sessions, and what I do is accept and allow people as they are. And I've had someone who's been with me for 6 years every other week. And I've like talked to her. I'm like, how do we describe what I do? Like, how am I different than a therapist? And it's like, you would not believe how hard it is to put the words on it. Like, we can't hardly do it, but it's like, I am dark night of the soul person. It's like people in the universe, they find me so that I can like carry them across that bridge. Like that, like when the tower in the tarot cards, it's like, that is 2551. It's like,
Which is her channel, by the way.
yeah.
Pure individual ego manifester 255118.
Mhm. A swamp shaman. Okay. This one's super simple. But it's a complicated concept because I feel like we don't understand, like when we're experimenting, what are we doing? And it's like we are becoming aware of our definition, what we are, what we create, what is always there, what is always consistent, and we're becoming wise in what we're not. So it's like, oh, this flow, this wave, this is not mine, starting to recognize what's not yours in there so that it can leave. It's like, that's wisdom, getting the invitation and having through experience learned and feeling the no inside of yourself. That's wisdom. It's like, this concept is so complicated, but like so simple at the same time.
I feel like my ideas are like silly jokes and yours are like potential tattoos. You know? Just like
Yeah, but
here's
you're like
like a
funny.
right.
I'm like dark night of the soul person.
Just so meaningful. Like it's like yeah, that's some shit. I love that it sounded like a wife beater.
I know, right? I was like, this is like cool to work out in.
You're
Like I
like
could be like running on a trail or something wearing that.
you like read it with a deep Appalachian accent.
It's got to be a trail in the mountains. Okay, this one's cool because this one is the point to me. So it's like I took a biblical phrase.
Ooh, you changed that one.
The enemy's power is nothing compared to the promise of a correct capture frequency. Because that's what we all really want. And as wonderful as the Bible is, I don't know if it's going to help me find my correct capture frequency. It's like if that's what we want to do, that's what we want to do. And when we have that, we get to live with our resistance. Like we can move through situations, we can be joyous in our life, like have a sense of purpose with the right people. So it's like to take that concept away from something so abstract as God and to be able to define it so much more precisely. That is like all of it to me.
The mechanics of God.
Yeah.
That's what the monopole is. Oh, this shirt is so fun for me because it's like if you don't know anything about human design, it is just like a buffet of questions. It's just sort of like, what in the world are you talking about? You just like wear this to Thanksgiving dinner and see like how
Yeah, see
much.
what happens.
Yeah, just like what in the world is this?
It's truly so heretical, and it's like really the only reason that I can make this is because I have this crazy personal experience with it. It's like I experienced this observer at the end of my aura, and it looks back at me. Like in the Bible, they talk about counts every hair on your head. This thing that I observe, like this thing that I am aware of in my aura, like it is looking at me. And I believe that it is correct capture frequency. It's just me experiencing what that feels like And it's only because I have every gate defined in the monopole except 46. Like I think I'm experiencing it on such a high level
In the
because
G center,
of the way I am. Yeah. Yeah. So I love that one. It's like very personal.
right?
It's like gray, black. No, it's like a dark gray and then a green. This is like Harry Potter, Slytherin, Grandma.
Slytherin grandma.
Yeah.
Slytherin grandma would have the Green Bay Packers colors.
Right? Okay. This is a doormat. And it's really a reference to like the Jehovah's Witnesses that are like, do you have time to discuss? So, but this one says, do you have time to discuss our crystals of consciousness? So just like, precision in the mechanics there.
It's just a little shout out to the Jehovah's Witnesses before they actually knock on the door. Just let them know what's in store for them.
Yes. Like, I would love to talk to you today. I do have a moment.
Oh my goodness, have you heard about human design?
You give him a
Do
pamphlet.
you
Yeah.
know what time you were born? Come on in.
Yes. We'll swap systems today.
We're having a
Okay.
system swap.
Yeah, and we were talking about that before this Zoom because so much of my weirdness is just me kind of like not being in any system. Like I think humans are so controlled by the systems they're peddling. And I'm like, wait, wait, wait. Like let's just like care about the humans and not peddle like any of it. It's like, why would I take human design and knock on someone's door and try to teach it to them?
What does it say?
Oh, okay. So this one's like a tribute to me because I'm an ego authority and I took the heart center and it just says embodied. So it's like this is
That's so
specifically
good.
my authority, but at the same time, it's everyone's authority. It's like
Mm.
so many practices have the goal of getting us in the body and getting that bodily decision maker. And I think that this one has like a real potential to help people do it.
That's another one that could just, it doesn't, you don't have to know anything about human design or care about it at all, or it's just like it's like just a very nice idea, very pleasant, comfortable concept. Like I think anyone would wear that.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's like $15, are good prices. Like that's a solid tank top.
It's nice.
Okay, this is the one I'm wearing. Oh my gosh. So this comes in a shirt and a hoodie, and I love this one. This is like the whole thing. So it says experiment and ye shall find. And that's it to me. It's like I can learn all the things in the world without ever finding my ego authority. And what I need to help people do is experiment so that they can find theirs. It's so like
It's what
biblical
it's
and
all about.
birdish, and I feel like so like illuminated manuscripts, you're gonna have to look it up. I'm like absolutely obsessed with them.
What is
It's
that?
like so Renaissance times forward, maybe like ending in the beginnings of like the industrial era. It's like they would take these, they would make the book, and it's this huge like paper, and they would basically sit down with like gold foil and like rubies and ink, and they would just like do these elaborate pages, like it's just like a work of art. Each page is just a work of art. And I'm obsessed with them. And so like when I was making these, I was thinking so much about them and the elements they use, like so much of their borders and things are butterflies, birds, flowers, these like naturey elements. And so that's where a lot of my inspiration came from.
Awesome.
All right, let's see. This one's not so fluffy. So this one says hell starts with homogenization. And it's a crew neck.
It's a crew neck.
It's a crew neck. This one's a little heavier than the previous ones. But it's true. Like, don't fall too deeply in your system.
I think everyone should have that shirt.
Right. No, it's so funny, you guys. So in the beginning, I was like, should we make like other products like besides the shirts and things? And I took that one and I put it on a cutting board.
Mm.
I showed it to my husband. He was like, "Oh, I like the whole Hell's Kitchen thing you're doing there." And I was like, "Oh, I didn't even like put that together. I didn't even put that together." He's like, "Well, it's kind of nice." And it was just this like glass cutting board. And then Dave saw it. He was like, He's like, "Yeah, it's." And I was like, "You know what? I'm gonna take this off of this cutting board and put it on a
I
cutting."
would never use a glass cutting board for anything ever. Maybe for like displaying a cheese board, but I wouldn't cut anything on it.
And it just says like every cut. Well, it's like, okay, I was kind of thinking about the craziness with the PHS diets. It's like those people, like some of them, my son is like, no, my husband is one thing at a
Those
time,
people?
one thing at a time. It's like those people
Me
have
too.
to really sit there and think and be like, oh, do I just want banana? Like, do I want rice and then one piece of chicken? And, it's like every chop, are you thinking about it? Like, are you thinking about your one thing? It's like PHS can be such a like beat to beat in the moment thing for some people.
I mean, we could get into a whole PHS convo.
And it's like
you know,
that's what gets them out of homogenization. They're
mm,
doing it to escape the homogen. They're doing it to escape. You know what I mean?
it is a good trick to just like step out of homogenization. Yeah, it sort of helps you, gives you one more tool to just sort of like get on your own groove.
Yeah. It's like I'll say this
But I
one.
mean, the other thing a lot of people worry about how they think it's some prescription for some dogmatic dietary regime, and it's like I don't want to. I don't like to jump too quick into these conversations because people get all fussy about it.
Yeah, I tell people I'm like, just put your authority first. If your authority
Right.
feels good about this, you do it. And if it stops feeling good about it, you stop. It'll lead you to what's right for you. And that's what's so magical for me is because I found my correct diet before I started my experiment. It's like I'm nervous and I was never allowed to move. Like we had to sit at the table. And as soon
Mm.
as I got married, my husband, he's half Hispanic, half Filipino. And his people like cook and eat while they're cooking and moving and they're feeding each other. And I was like, the fuck is this? And so all of a sudden I'm like eating and cooking and it just felt so right to me. Like it felt like the way that I always wanted and I wasn't allowed to do it. And so that happened to me probably about a year before I even found my experiment. It's like life is working with us to help us, you know? It's
I
like you can work with it and find it. Oh, I didn't even
I
say this.
uh, I definitely wasn't naturally following my determination, but that's a whole other story. This one, like I said, it reminds me of that Led Zeppelin 4 album with the four different symbols.
Yeah, I love this one. And it's just cool because it's like mechanical differentiation. It's like it's easy to say that you should love the person that lives next to you, but like can you love your husband when he's emotional authority and you're not? Like it's like it takes it just so much deeper and more personal. It's so much more about where we are now in time. It's time to like understand these types of differences.
It's the new gender.
Oh my God. Yeah, so that's that. This is
Yeah,
our
you guys. I
line.
are people watching this?
I,
Um,
I'm not even
yeah,
watching it.
stay tuned for more ideas because we're gonna keep doing this and having fun with it.
Yeah, and we're gonna drop the shop link in all the comments and things. We'll put them in our stories, and it's the merchifesters.shop. So you can go there, it'll take you right to this page. You can click on either one of the lines, or you can look at, all of them together. And if you guys have any questions or anything, you can message either one of us, and we'd love to help you out. So what do you feel? You wanna wrap up?
It seems like a appropriate place to stop
I love going through all
broadcasting.
of them. Yeah.
Yeah, but that seemed like a good sort of explanation, introduction, exposition, blah blah blah.
All right,
Um,
well, you guys have a great day. Thanks for hanging out with us. And yeah, like you said, we'll be around. Well, and now that this site's built and I'm free and clear, like I'm ready to do things. So let's do things. Yeah, you guys will see us, and I
yeah,
hope you
we'll
have a good day.
be present.
We'll be present.